Good evening, everyone. Tom here, Cinema Attacks. And tonight we're going to be talking about what we've been watching lately, maybe stuff we bought. And then we're also going to be ranking the Friday the 13th franchise since yesterday was Friday the 13th. And I believe it's the only Friday the 13th this year. So I thought it seemed appropriate. And other people are doing it. I'm nothing if not a trend follower. And then we're also going to be talking about W.C. Fields a little bit and talking about his 1935 film, Man on the Flying Trapeze. So, boys, we have Scott and Eli back. Scott, if you can introduce yourself, say hi.
Hello, I'm Scott. I have a tiny YouTube channel called No Solution, and happy to be here. I don't know. Not much
Well
else to
said.
say.
Brilliantly stated, Eli. And Eli, I think it works, but your face is pretty dark, but it looks cool.
I'm gonna dark. Scott, what do you when Scott said tiny? I had no idea what he was gonna say after that. I don't know if it was just me. I was like, "What is he gonna make a joke?" Anyways, yeah, I'm happy to be here too. Dark Hymns from the Cold North is my channel, and yeah. Oh, Simon's in the house. Tiny.
I'm not going to stand for this slander. I'll show you right now.
This is a family operation on YouTube. YouTube is an operation for families.
Scott was just going to play the scene from Boogie Nights, anyways. Just say that was
yeah. Just
that was
it
me,
in
dude.
there. Yeah, Sith Lord. Yeah, it's super humid today, so I have my air conditioning off, so I'm going to be sweating a little bit just to warn everybody. And it's not because of what Scott did. All right, so we'll just start with what have you been watching? There you go, little title. Hello, Simon. And so Scott, have you been watching anything, or do you even watch movies? I should have asked that first. Do you like movies at all? Period. And then
I like certain kinds of filmed entertainment. I don't know if you'd call them movies exactly.
Porn does not count.
Oh. Okay. Well, then no, I don't like movies. This week I watched a movie that my dad had recommended called Panic in Year Zero. From I should have brought the DVD down here. From 1962, I believe. Ray Milland and Frankie Avalon starred in it, and based on, I don't know, maybe just the age of it or what the description my dad told me, I was not looking forward to it, but he kept bugging me. Have you watched that movie yet? Have you watched that movie yet? So finally I did. And it was really good. I was very surprised. A very effective way of doing like a apocalyptic movie with no money. If you don't know anything about it, just kind of the setup is this family lives in LA, but they're driving out to some remote camp for like a fishing vacation. So they're a few hours down the road, and then there's a bright light flashing behind them. They're like, what was that? Was that a storm? And then, they look back and there's a mushroom cloud. So it really becomes much more nuanced than I thought it would be. Like, the dad is just kind of a normal guy, but he starts figuring out, well, we need food and we need to get away from people. So his plan is to go to a town where they don't know what's going on yet and buy out all the groceries. So they start doing that, and then they run into some trouble, and then all of a sudden, he's pulling guns on store owners and taking what he wants, and kind of becoming a vigilante. And yeah, it was a really interesting movie, a really fun movie. I thought it was really well done. Pretty brutal, I guess, for the time. There's some SA action, and yeah, I would really recommend it. I don't know how available it is. I watch it on old DVD. Panic in Year Zero.
Wow, I'm
I've
sold.
seen it, but I vaguely remember like it playing on Turner Classic Movies. Like maybe seeing a trailer for it or watching a couple minutes of it or something.
It was on a double feature disc with The Last Man on Earth, which I was much more excited to watch. I'd never seen it, the Vincent Price one.
Yeah.
And that movie was super old and creaky and boring. So I don't know. It was an hour and a half, and it felt like I was still watching it right now.
I do like that Last Man on Earth adaptation. I think there's three of them, and all three of them are flawed for different reasons. There's the Will Smith one,
Yeah.
and the Omega Man.
Charlton Heston.
Yeah.
I haven't watched the Omega Man in a long time, but of what I remember, that's my favorite of the three. But I should probably see it again. It's been a long time.
Yeah, I agree.
Eli,
I've been watching. So I think I've already probably talked about it a little bit, but Bring Her Back. I've seen 3 times now in the theater.
wow.
Yeah, I will say. I mean, first of all, I think maybe both you guys know now that I have the Regal Theater Pass, so I'm not spending I'm not throwing money every time, but still, I've gone back 3 times. I really, really, really love it. So yeah, I actually at first I thought I was kind of hyping it up a little much, and I was afraid of that. I was like, because I do fall victim to that, I'll admit, and I'm trying to get it under control, especially when I do reviews and stuff. I gotta if I like something, I need to calm down a little bit, maybe stew on it for a day or two. But anyways, I think I can stand by everything I've said about it, and I think I maybe even like it more. And I would even say now I think I like it as much as Talk to Me, maybe not more, but I think as to where before I said just maybe a notch under. Now I'm thinking I think I like them neck and neck. So I don't know if you guys have seen it yet.
I haven't.
Okay, I didn't think so.
No, I definitely will. Hopefully, it's still in the theaters for at least a week or two.
A week, I think so too. Maybe I think you should, because I think it's doing okay. So, and it hasn't been playing for like a long time. I think you're probably solid. Oh yeah, Simon. Sorry, I'm. Simon. I'll be done after this, Tom. But Simon, I have a week off of work next week, so I'm going to send you that box. I'm going to send you that big, beautiful box. Wait, guys! I haven't watched the news for like a day or two. Are we friends with England, or is Simon? Are we friends with Simon? Is kind of what I'm getting at before I send the box.
No, never.
Okay. Simon, we'll talk behind the scenes. I'll extort you or something. I'll extort Tom and Scott. It's the American way now. Yeah, Simon, that box is going out next week for sure. Sorry.
Yeah, it is. It is Father's Day tomorrow.
I plan to celebrate by watching Father's Day, the movie, tonight.
Cool.
Yeah, so I've been rewatching the Friday the 13th movies. So I have stacks and stacks of stuff I've never seen before. But I went ahead and watching movies I've seen 15 times.
Right.
So I wanted to talk a couple plot points about the first one. Because I was reading a couple reviews of it, and there's a couple plot things that people get confused about, I think, or that are in debate. So, in my opinion, they have the 2 counselors that are killed in 1958 in the beginning. In my opinion, those are not the same kids that were having sex while Jason was drowning.
Right. I never thought so. Do people think so?
I think some people think so. Reason being that they would have not have been brought back. They would have been fired if that was the case. And also they don't react. They don't react to Mrs. Voorhees in a way that would make you think that they were responsible for her son's death.
That's true.
And then the other point is that in terms of like the mystery of figuring out who is the killer, the movie does cheat in terms of there's no way, and this is obviously spoilers, but I mean, who doesn't know this by now? So you can guess that it's Pamela Voorhees when she shows up, but then she confesses about 5 minutes later. And reason being because the truck driver at the beginning, you can sort of infer that it's an older relative of whoever the kid is that drowned. So it has to be an older person. And then you hear someone impersonating a little girl's voice to try to lure what's her face while she's reading in the cabin. So you think, okay, it's an older person and it's a female. And then also it's got to be someone who's friends with Christie or Mr. Christie or whatever his name is, because the way he reacts right before he's killed. So, and then she shows up and says, "Oh, I'm an old friend of the Christies." She's older and she's a woman. So there's like a 5-minute window where you can guess who it is.
The new person that shows up 15 minutes before the end of the movie. And yeah.
Besides if someone is showing up, but there are hints there. So that's all I wanted to say about the plot, for the minuscule plot for Friday the 13th Part 1.
Very minuscule. As they all are.
Yeah. And then Part 2, the big mystery with Part 2 is the boyfriend at the end, is he or isn't he killed by Jason? Whatever the fuck his name is.
That dork. Yeah.
Let's say Steve. I don't remember.
I think he was not killed by Jason. And the reason I say this is because in Part 3 at the beginning, there's a newscast where the newsman says that 8 people were just killed at a camp. So if you do the math, whatever his face is, he would be number 9.
Okay.
But the other problem with that is at the beginning of 3, because there's the some people will say that Part 2 it ends with a dream. That's a dream sequence at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And then the beginning of Part 3, Jason takes the machete out of his shoulder before he leaves his little shack.
Mm-hmm.
But then he has the machete in his shoulder when he attacks them at the end of Part 2. So I just chalked that up that it's just a fuck up.
Yeah. That's what I always assumed.
Okay. Because I've heard different theories over the years.
But you got me with the kid not being killed because he would have been the 9th. I guess I'd assumed that he died,
It was not until recently that I realized, like, oh yeah, they don't show if he died or not. I guess I just didn't give a fuck about him.
Yeah. You just assumed Jason just smashed him to death,
I was focused on Amy Steele, so whatever.
Fair.
He can get lost.
Yeah, no one cared about that guy. Literally nobody.
And then I haven't watched him yet, but this morning I picked up the Iron Angels Vinegar Syndrome triple feature.
Cool.
So I'll look forward to watching this.
Those clowns still have not sent my order.
Yeah, I just walked into a store and grabbed it off the new release shelf, like the old days.
Mm-hmm. I still do it too.
Well, until today, I didn't know anywhere I could buy Vinegar Syndrome off the shelf, but I actually saw on a YouTube video, there's a store in Grand Rapids, which is where I work, called Still Alive, and it's a completely horror-themed store. So just went up there today, right before this, and
Shit.
it's a little store, but I should have taken some video. I probably will go again and take some video to show on YouTube, and hopefully get somebody to maybe be aware of them. But little store, but just packed to the gills with VHS tapes and figures and books and Blu-rays and just anything horror related. Posters. Had some really nice, like, full-size Friday the 13th posters that I almost bought until I realized I don't really have a place for it. They have like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre family dinner playset that I've never seen before. That looked really cool. Yeah, just a really cool store, and they had a bunch of Vinegar Syndrome stuff. I didn't buy any, but I may go back. I bought some VHS tapes while I was there, just kind of to support them a little bit. You'll be shocked to know that they're all horny films. I could not pass this up. I mean, a Shannon Worry video for $5.
Wow. Exit.
A couple Playboy ones. There's I don't know if you guys have seen that. It's Pamela Anderson in Naked Souls. She's barely in it, but they slapped her on the box cover.
Yeah.
David Warner and Brian Krause and Dean Stockwell are also in that.
Wow.
And a 90s erotic thriller classic, The Corys with Nicole Eggert in Blown Away.
Oh, yeah.
And as far as I know, this is the unrated version has never been on DVD. It's always the R-rated version. So this is the unrated version.
I have the DVD of that has the unrated version.
Oh, really? There is? Okay, I didn't even know it existed. Okay.
Yeah, I think it has both on there.
Okay.
Yeah, Nicole Eggert was awesome. Charles in Charge. James, yeah, I'm not sure. I don't get any of those bell notifications for YouTube. It doesn't work at all for me.
I used to, and then they quit working.
So YouTube is just a shit show. I don't know what to say.
I think I get some bell notifications. I don't know. You guys don't get any at all?
No.
Wow.
No.
Damn.
Or sometimes I get them for things that I know I never hit the bell for.
Oh.
Just like a random live stream of a channel that I subscribe to but barely watch, but ones that I actually have hit the bell, I don't get those.
Wow.
Yeah, then sometimes they'll unsubscribe me from channels.
Wow. Shit.
I don't know. I guess, do you have anything else, Eli?
Oh, yeah. I was just going to show this. I haven't watched it yet, but you guys probably know it. I was really happy to find the Scream Queen documentary.
Yeah.
You might know it better from, by the other cover. You might have seen that before. Sorry.
Oh, this is the Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
Yeah. I'd heard about it, and I don't know. I like Nightmare on Elm Street 2. I never hated it. I know I don't think it's top tier or anything, but I don't know. I know a lot of people when they go through the series, they'll skip 2. I'm like, is it skippable? Is it that bad? What do you guys think?
No, I mean, I think it's really good.
Yeah.
Well, because I saw it as a kid and it scared the shit out of me.
Yeah. I think it's got some great scenes, some great scary stuff. Yeah, like the part where he killed. Well, I guess you can't really spoil a movie that's 40 years old. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I like it.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I would say it's not canon really. It doesn't really connect to anything else. But yeah, I think as a movie, I think it works, and the whole like gay subtext, which as a kid, of course, I didn't get at all. But now, once that's in your head and you watch it, like, how did nobody realize what this was? Yeah. And didn't the director claim he didn't know or something?
Yeah, I was just gonna say in an interview, the director says, it wasn't intentional, which seems insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But isn't he like the only one that says that? Like everyone else is like, he said that, but he says it. It seems genuine. I've seen him say it in interviews. It does seem like, it doesn't seem like somebody's just fucking lying. I don't know.
I've heard gay film critics mention it as the gayest horror film of all time.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, and obviously I didn't really get that, as a kid, but I probably watched it when I was like 7 or something for the first time.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't either. When the first few times, maybe the first bunch of times I saw it, I didn't know either. It went not until I got older.
Yeah. Speaking of which, so I've been going through the Cruising 4K,
Oh yeah.
and this is another movie that I had heard is like being so bad it's good, and watching it, I don't really get that, because to me it's like very serious.
Yeah.
Um, so I think like it's partially like people are like, the guy looks like he's from the Village People. Haha. There's a little bit of that in some of the reviews, because I've heard people call it like one of the worst films ever made, or
Wow.
campy, but when it's super serious, pretty much. Although you can make fun of Al Pacino dancing.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
I've never seen it. All the negative stuff I've heard about it was that it's very homophobic, as viewing it from today. Yeah, I hadn't heard that people were laughing at it and calling it campy and terrible.
Yeah, I've heard that a few places, but that was probably a while ago. That was probably 15 years ago. I would say it's kind of dubious, or I guess questionable in certain spots.
Yeah.
But I'm going through the extras because they kind of talk about that, and William Friedkin talks about it, and he definitely says it wasn't intentional on his part. But really, the problem began with the novel it was based on, because that was considered, um, you know, gay bashing, or however you want to say it, in some way, the novel, and then different groups protested the making of the movie, to the point where they would even intentionally fuck up the sound as they were recording the sound. So they would be recording scenes for the movie, and someone, groups would have bullhorns and would shout stuff to screw up the soundtrack. So there's a lot of ADR in the movie as a result.
Oh, I see.
So I think it really started with the novel. So I don't know, but Freakin said that it was only loosely based on the novel, and then there's a lot of stuff that was based on actual murders that happened. So yeah, and he explains a lot in I listened to the first commentary. The first half of it, he kind of goes into his thinking of why he did certain things and the meaning behind his choices for the movie. But then like the second half of the commentary, he just is just describing the plot.
Oh God, I hate that.
And it's super annoying. But like at some point he just like gives up trying to explain the movie, and is like, and now Al Pacino needs to do this. And this guy, he realizes that this guy might be the murderer or whatever.
I've only tried to listen to a couple of Arnold Schwarzenegger commentaries, and they were all like that. I made like 10 minutes. He's narrating the movie.
Yeah, like the one he does with John Milius, it's sort of similar. Like it's pretty great for a while when they're just dicking around, and then for certain scenes or after a while they're just describing what's going on. So it's a mixture of greatness and boring.
Yeah. Like they had no plan. Also, right here, I punched the donkey. As you see, it fall down, and we walk away.
But even some of that shit is really funny, and
That's
that
true.
commentary in
That's
particular.
true. Yeah.
Generally, Schwarzenegger, a lot of his commentaries that I've heard, they're pretty funny in spots. Like, he's just a funny dude in general.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, especially in his younger days, man. He was pretty gold.
Yeah.
The
And
Rio tape.
Yeah.
what was that?
The what party in Rio, is that what it's called? That videotape he made where he went down to Carnival and just like started groping women and
That's a weird one. But didn't they like? It wasn't even like they told him to do it. It was like it was like a thing.
I think he was doing what he wanted to do. He looked
Oh
like he was
yeah,
having a good
yeah.
time.
That's true. It's an awkward watch, but it's funny.
And the other thing with Cruising, I love the scene. There's like a cop night at the leather bar. So he shows up in Al Pacino shows up in his whatever his normal outfit is, and they think he's a cop because he's not dressed like a cop. Does that make sense?
Because he doesn't actually blend in.
Yeah. So if he had just worn his normal cop uniform, he would have blended in fine.
Yep.
So that I love the irony of that scene. But yeah, I think the movie is really, really good, really dark.
I agree.
And I love that there's sort of ambiguity with the killer. Or it's sort of, I don't want to spoil it, but
because it's still you're right to do that, because it's still a movie that a lot of people have slept on, so a lot of people can maybe want to go check it out now.
I still need to see it for sure.
Yeah, I'll just say like it might not be cut and dry in terms of what the result is, but I'll probably need to rewatch it to really have an idea in my own head.
Me too.
Well, but before, if it's okay, before we rank the movies, I just recently came across this Adam Film Quarterly. So Adam was an adult adult men magazine, and this eventually became like the precursor to AVN. It's just all like pornography reviews, but this was an early version of it, where, as you can see, we've got some boobies out there. So it's basically kind of write-ups and reviews of exploitation movies of the time. This was, I think, 68 is this issue. So we've got like, where is it? Here we go. The Boston Strangler movie starring Tony Curtis, stuff like that. And then there's, I won't get your channel in trouble, but there's some exposed movies in here. But I just thought this was cool to flip. I haven't really read through it totally yet, but I've kind of been flipping through it, and it's kind of cool to see where this started, and then it just turned into downright filth, as all these magazines did. But
it looks cool. I'd read it.
Yeah, it's a neat little magazine.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Scott, did you forgot to ask if you saw Life of Chuck yet, though?
Life of Chuck?
Yeah, the Life of Chuck, the Flanagan movie.
No, I haven't. No.
Oh, okay. I won't say anything about it then.
I probably will end up waiting till it's streaming.
Okay. That's another one that I saw, but I won't talk about it now.
All right, we can go rank Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
I guess we'll just have 3 separate rankings. So let me do the share screen.
Ooh, look at that tier list.
All right.
Wow.
Cool.
I'm configuring my screen. I'm figuring this out. Okay.
Yeah, I think I had some notes for I actually had been working on a ranking of this franchise for a while. I think I wrote some notes down.
Yeah, I know, you'd asked me a while ago about doing it. Maybe the last
Yeah.
Friday the 13th.
Yeah. I'd probably throw them away. Damn it.
It's all right. Mine's the only one that is correct anyway. So
That's true. Others are invalid.
that's right.
I don't even know what S tier means.
That's like, I don't either, but it's the best, right?
It's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. I looked it up and it's something like, I think it's from. It originated in Japan, so it stands for something. Something video game related in Japan. I don't know.
Sega tier.
Sega, yes. Original Sega.
Yeah, and if you guys, anyone watching has their own opinions in terms of the Friday the 13th series ranking, let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts. So for me, the best is Final Chapter. So I'm going to put that in S tier.
Yeah.
To me, the most important aspect of a Friday the 13th movie is how the suspense is directed and like the cat and mouse aspect of it and how that stuff is handled. And to me, I would say this does it the best. And I love the cinematography of the movie. And you got Crispin Glover, and I love the portrayal of Jason. And then you have the Tommy Jarvis character, who's a really interesting foil because he's a makeup artist and he's into horror movies. Overall, I think it's just the best directed one in terms of handling the suspense and cat and mouse and where's Jason versus where are my friends, all that kind of stuff. Because to me, that's the most important aspect. And then number 2, I would go part 2 for similar reasons. This is a bit lower budget, but it does have the best final girl, I think, in Amy Steele. But it is, you do have the Jason with the bag over his head, which I still kind of like, honestly. God, it has all these ads on it. Okay. All right. On the next tier, I guess the original. I like the sort of the atmosphere of it, and then again, sort of the similar thing where you're thinking about where all the different characters are at different points and where Jason, or not Jason, but the killer, where the killer might be at any given moment. And I think it handles that pretty well. And I do love the score of the original. A lot of the sequels have a similar score, or at least part 2 and part 4 do. I don't know.
The first one, was that Manfredini or did he come in later?
Yeah, Harry
okay.
Manfredini. And there's a movie he did called The Children about these killer kids that are radioactive.
Cool.
And he actually uses, for Friday the 13th, there are sections of the score which he stole from The Children, which is his own score. So if you want to hear, because it was like 6 months prior, so if you want to hear certain sections of the Friday the 13th score, but done before Friday the 13th, check out The Children.
I will.
And I guess Jason Lives it's definitely different than a lot of the sequels, but in a good way. It's much more of a gothic horror thing. Yeah. And then a lot of influence from Universal Monsters movies.
Yeah.
And then the only thing I don't like is how the Tommy Jarvis character is written where he's this constant exposition of how he needs to kill Jason and this is how we do it. It's just kind of a little one note I find, and kind of reminiscent of like 50s science fiction movies, which is what they were going for, I think, where you have the person that is aware of the threat and then is constantly talking about it. And then I think I'll put part 3 in the same tier. I did see this on TV. I watched these a lot of these early ones, like far too young. So this is one of the first ones I saw on TV, and it scared the living horseshit out of me. And especially this scene with the couple. You have the guy doing the handstand, and then the girl gets it in the hammock with the machete. Like that scene just scarred me for life. So this is goofier than the first the first 2 and part 4. But I also like that it's shot in the scope aspect ratio, and there's a lot of crane shots. So it's actually shot pretty well, apart from that it has that fuzzy look because it was shot in 3D. I would put part 5 in the next tier. This movie is super trashy. But it's super fun. And it is, I guess people complain about it's the fake Jason, but at least they tried something different, I guess. And then I'll put part 7. And again, this is, at least they tried something different with this one. But they cut out pretty much all the gore. And then, yeah, but I still like it, and I like how it's Kane Hodder as Jason, and he's super zombified.
Yeah.
And I like that bitchy character, and she gets absolutely destroyed by Jason, which is awesome. I don't know. Then Jason Takes Manhattan is kind of a clusterfuck, but I've always enjoyed it. And one thing that amuses me about it is a Paramount production, and it is just nonstop, like continuity errors and logic errors. If you've seen it enough time, you really notice it. Like there's the Jason teleporting stuff, and then just a constant stream of like filmmaking errors. And then obviously the one complaint, people complain about, it's just Jason on a boat. But a lot of the stuff when he does actually get to New York is actually pretty fun. And I'll put Jason X as C. It's stupid, but they are trying to go for a campy Jason, and it does feel like a sci-fi network movie, but I think it's kind of fun. For D, I'll go Freddy versus Jason. I like this a lot more when I initially saw it. I saw it, like opening night with a packed crowd. I think there's just too much stupid shit in it.
Yeah.
And then it is more of a Nightmare on Elm Street movie.
Mm-hmm.
And Jason Goes to Hell. Again, if this was a standalone movie that had nothing to do with the Friday the 13th franchise, I think it would be better. but it really doesn't. The continuity wise, it does not fit at all with the rest of the franchise to me.
No.
And then it also feels like more of an offshoot of Friday the 13th, the series. Also because it has the same lead character. And then there's no F, but we'll leave the remake will be an F.
Oh.
I know. I've watched some of these different. There's one YouTuber I watched where he had this as his number one, and there were others that really liked the remake. My two biggest problems is just like the douchiness of the characters, and it just feels like, the entire crew is made out of douches or something.
It's got that early 2000s douche vibe.
Yeah. Well, it was 2009, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Late
it was
2000s,
8 or 9. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then the big problem is, like, again, going back to my point of like staging the cat and mouse stalking sequences. I think this movie does it the worst, where there's just like no suspense for the various murders because they're really, to me, directed pretty poorly. So, yeah, that's it. That's my ranking. So I guess I'll reset this. I don't know how to do that.
Or Scott and I can just do
we can just
in order.
Or just fix it.
Or we could just do an in order ranking from, our favorites to least favorite.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
So I'll just get rid of the screen. We'll go back to.
I've never seen the series.
I used to watch it when it was on, which again reveals how fucking old I am. But
it was a long time ago.
I thought I wanted to watch it again, and I watched like half of an episode on, I don't know, Tubi or whatever it's on. And I was like, this is awful. So,
Okay.
That redhead is pretty hot though. She might carry me through a couple episodes.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, it really has nothing to do with Friday the 13th. It's actually more like an X-Files type thing, but it has to do with an antique store. So there'd be like a haunted antique, and they'll go investigate it. And I did watch it when it was on a little bit, and then I have them on. I think I have all of them on DVD, and I've watched some of the DVDs, but I haven't ever finished the whole series.
Yeah.
When it started, obviously before the internet and everything, it was just Friday the 13th, the series. It's on at like 11:30 at night, and I was like, let's go. And then I was watching it. I was waiting for it to tie into Jason, and then it ended, and I was like, oh, I guess it doesn't.
That's fair. I mean, pre-internet days, that's a fair, the same problem I guess they had with Halloween 3, although that was maybe more successful. But
Halloween 3, at least there's somebody watching the first Halloween movie on a television.
Yeah, it's got some tie-in, right?
So you get 5 seconds of Michael Myers.
The movie exists in the world of Halloween 3.
Yeah.
I would say I did prefer Freddy's Nightmares. And James brought it up. That was the name of it. But it was like I don't know if it was shot on video or it was edited on video, but it had a very video look to it. Which does not hold up great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I used to watch that all the time too, and then recently tried to watch it, and I don't know, sometimes you have to leave the memories alone.
Yeah, they were just sort of like shitty versions of Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street subplots.
Yeah.
So they did try to tie it into to the movies a bit. So yeah, whoever wants to start, just do a quick ranking.
I could probably run through it quick. I wish I had my ranking written down that I worked on like a year ago. But I'll just do my best. For me, like maybe it's kind of superficial or kind of, I don't know. Maybe I'm missing some of the points, but like for me, I kind of prefer certain Jasons. I think a lot of people are that way too. But like, I wish I was more storyline focused or atmosphere. But it's kind of a Jason thing for me. So but not always, not always. But I think my ranking is a little bit weird. But I would say, I guess I'll start from the bottom. That makes more sense. So for the bottom, because I didn't count them. Let me see. 1, 2, 3. I think there's like 12.
Yeah.
Well, let me.
Are there 12? I guess I should have
Yeah.
counted them. Okay. So I guess number 12, I would have to go for Jason X. I just never really understood it. And I'm one of the people that like I always wanted to love it because it does have some like cool kills, some brutal kills, but yeah, it's just a little bit too campy for me, I guess. 11, I would probably go for just
And I saw Jason X twice in the theater.
oh man.
And I think it played for 2 weeks or something.
I wish I had. I wish I had seen it in the theater. But yeah. Yeah, okay. I guess I'll probably in my 11, I guess I'll just throw Freddy versus Jason there. I do like it, but like Tom said, it's got some stuff in there that's just like what? Like the worm thing and like so stupid.
The stoner guy, and then
Yeah.
the stuff with the water, Jason being
Yeah.
afraid of the water.
Yeah, because that was like they were fucking with canon too much too, right? They're trying to add rules.
Yeah, because in Jason Takes Manhattan, he swims to the fucking
Yeah, I don't think he'd ever been
Manhattan.
afraid of water before, before that movie. But they wanted to do, I guess they wanted to do a fire and water thing. Whatever, stupid.
Yeah.
I don't hate the movie though. I liked watching it from time to time. But it's yeah. So 10, I guess I'll go for. As of today, anyways, I guess I'll put the remake in there. But I do like it. I do like it. But if it would be a really good movie if it wasn't so kind of, it just feels too of its time with the characters. They were trying to mash like modern with like 80s douchey, 80s douchebags, and it just didn't really work. Like I kind of like the supernatural guy in there. I thought he was fine. But none of, and then they tried to do that whole the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake scene. That was really weird, where he talks to the old lady, and she's like, "Oh, don't come around here," or whatever. And like that scene was weird. But how do you guys feel about Derek Mears overall as Jason, though?
I thought he was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing.
I think he fit that version of the
Yeah.
movie. That's
Yeah.
more of a survivalist type of outdoorsy Jason.
Yeah. I think he was maybe a little bit too like too much of like just a redneck that had skills and stuff. I don't know. I thought he was almost like Rambo-ish at times. But I liked him. What about you, Scott?
I thought he did a good job. The problem, I think I haven't really judged it fairly because I just think Derek Mears is a cool guy. Like everything I've seen about him, he's just awesome. So like I was like, oh yeah, he did a great job. And I was thinking back, like, what did he do that I liked a lot? Like, oh, I don't know, he was fine. But
yeah,
I just think Derek Mears is cool. So
he is cool. So yeah, all right, number 9. I guess I'll go for Jason Takes Manhattan. Not a terrible movie. I don't think it's nearly as bad as its reputation. Like, I just feel like people enjoy shitting on it. It's not that bad. It's actually I think it's kind of fun. Like Tom said, the New York stuff is cool. Obviously, you don't get a lot of it. But even like the boat stuff, I think it's entertaining enough.
Welcome to New York. Like, there's a maniac trying to kill me. Welcome to New York. And then when those punk rockers, he kicks over their boombox.
Yeah.
And
it's Yeah, and like you said too, you like Tom, you like the Kane Hodder Jason too. It's he obviously he got the short end of the stick. He didn't get to play in like the really good movies, but everyone loves Kane, and he does. I wish we'd have seen him in some of the better movies, but
Well, he fits those 7 and 8 really well.
yeah, he's the violent, energetic Jason, the just killing machine Jason, And he's a cool guy too, but I think not just in a Derek Mears way. I think he deserves it also. Not that Derek doesn't. All right, then I'll go. This is actually where it gets tough for me. I think right after that. Okay, we're skipping the first three. I guess I would go for. I think I'll go for A New Beginning next. I do like it, but they're like a couple of these just kind of feel kind of samey to me. I'm also going through making sure I'm not saying the wrong one. Yeah, I'll just say The New Beginning. Then I'll go.
So yeah, you have from the bottom Jason X, Freddy versus Jason, the remake, Part 8, Part 5. Is that right?
Part 5. Yeah, it's this is where it gets hard, but okay. And then I'll go for I'll go for 7, Part 7, the New Blood. The first, I think it's the first movie with Kane Hodder. I know people are kind of hit and miss on this one. Like this is a love or hate, I feel like, because it's got the whole Jason versus Carrie thing, which I personally think is really cool. I know some people absolutely think it's trash, and then some people love it. I think it's pretty awesome. I also have a friend that looks exactly like what's her name, the actress that plays Carrie, which is hilarious.
The late Laura Park Lincoln.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
she just recently passed away.
Yeah, she died. Yeah. My only problem with this movie is it's too tame. Yeah, it should be gorier, but that's you could say that about a handful of them.
Yeah, it was supposed to be gory as fuck, but they cut all that stuff out.
Yeah, notoriously.
And it's pretty much all lost, right?
Oh,
yeah, there's like VHS clips of the gore on the Blu-ray.
I think there's some Fangoria articles that have some pictures of what was supposed to be in the movie too, but yeah.
So I think this could be very high for me if it was the the John Carl Buechler cut. Yeah. Which we all know what how he's described his feelings about his movie. I won't use the word that he uses, but yeah, he's not happy about it. Okay, and then I'll go for so tough now. I'm gonna go for the final chapter. Yeah, I know I'm gonna go for the final chapter now. I know a lot of people really love this one, and I like it. Maybe not as much as some people, but I think I also prefer the Tom Savini work that he, the movies that he worked on the most. But we'll get into that.
Well, so he worked on Final Chapter.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm surprised I'm not scoring it higher.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, but
yeah, I think he worked on the first one and the fourth one, I think.
Mm-hmm. I think you're right. At least those two. So yeah, Ted White's a great Jason. I like certain Jasons, which is kind of why my next one. Let's see. Now I'll go for. I only have a few left, I think. I guess I'll go for number. Jason Lives Now, number 6. It's hard for me though because I do like this one, but we'll do that. I didn't understand this one for the longest time. I actually used to not like it because it is so different. Because I was totally missing out. I was totally missing the points that Tom made about how it's influenced by Universal and old sci-fi, and that just went over my head the first few times I saw it, and I was like, oh, this is dumb. I don't like the Jason getting electrocuted and him being a zombie. And now I just think it's awesome. So I was wrong about that for a long time. So it should, I think that should rank higher for me, but I was hard on it.
Yeah, this is the one like a lot of people love, or even it's their number one or number two.
Yeah.
Yeah, that the only thing I don't like about it is just the like I
Tommy
said,
Jarvis.
the way Tommy Jarvis is handled. And the other thing that's annoying with the series is that so you have Tommy Jarvis in parts 4, 5, and 6, but the characters practically have nothing to do with one another.
It's like a different.
The characters could not be more different from each other.
That's a good point. That's really dumb. That's really dumb. Yeah, Tommy should have been Tommy should have gotten more respect as a character. More consistency.
Yeah, I mean they should have, just taken Corey Feldman's character in part 4 and then done a better job of, he's traumatized and older in part 5, but the way they did it in part 5 was really goofy.
Yeah, it was.
And then carried that through the rest of this, the series. I think that would have worked.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And I'll save the story for another time, but I originally saw part 6. I snuck into a drive-in theater when I was 6 years old.
Snuck into a drive-through.
A drive-in.
Or a drive-in. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Were you just lurking somewhere? The bushes.
It's a whole story.
Yeah, you said.
Well, I'll save it for another time.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I've been. So you have 4 more.
I got 4 more. Okay.
So you have Jason Goes to Hell. Then the first 3.
Oh shit! I fucked up, guys.
Well, I can just move it. I can just move it to where you.
I'm only gonna make one correction.
Jason Goes to Hell is your number 1. That's fucked up.
Have you guys been sitting there wondering like how much does he like Jason Goes to
Hell? He really likes that one.
Well, I thought there might be a spicy take, and that would have been.
Well, the funny thing is I don't actually hate it, but like you said, Tom, it does not work at all in the universe. But you know what it reminds me of? I don't know if you guys have ever thought this or how you feel, but it kind of reminds me of a 90s John Carpenter movie. That's the vibes, which is obviously not a good thing, but I just feel like it has that flavor. I don't know. It feels like something he could have done around that time. So I don't mean that as bad or good. I like, what's his name? The Creighton Duke or whatever, but he's not handled well. Like I like the concept of him, but he doesn't get enough to do.
I like the performance a lot. I don't like the character in terms of how it fits with the series. But I will say originally, part of the problem was, so New Line, they had the Jason character, but they didn't have anything else from the franchise.
Oh shit.
So that's why they couldn't call it Friday the 13th. And originally they wanted the Creighton Duke character. They wanted to have Tommy Jarvis come back and basically play the, he's like the Jason Hunter guy.
Oh,
that could have been cool.
But then the only thing they had was the Jason character in terms of the copyright.
Oh, okay. So I guess I'm gonna wedge that. Let's put that down. I'm gonna actually put that before the remake.
Underneath the remake?
Yeah, because I like the remake a little more.
Okay.
So that's where that goes. And so now I have 3 left. I guess, let's see. I think I'm going to pretty much go in order backwards. So now we're going to go for number 3. Well, I guess I just ruined everything. Okay. I like number 3 next. First movie with Jason getting the hockey mask, which is cool. Let's see. Yeah, no Tom Savini on this one. Got some good kills though. I do think that Tom Savini kills, not oddly enough, not surprisingly, are probably the best of the franchise. And but this one's got some great ones. Then I'll go for number 2. I used to not like number 2, and now I love it. I pretty much didn't like it because of the sackhead Jason. I was like, no hockey mask. I don't like it. Now I just think it's so cool. It almost, to me, it's like a different. It's almost like it's not a Jason movie. When I watch it, it's just a crazy redneck movie.
They didn't have the formula down yet.
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't. My mind just goes. It just in my mind. It's. I know it is Jason, but in my mind, it's like a different movie. And I just like how unhinged he is and clumsy, and he's falling down and like.
Yeah, I mean he's more of a backwoods redneck. He hasn't quite become a total killing machine yet.
Yeah, so it's like watching a young Jason learning how to fuck people up, and that's what's his name? I already said it. Who plays Jason?
Was it like Gillette? Is that Warrington Gillette? Is that his name?
He's the fake one, right?
Or is he the third?
No, he was
third.
Steve Dash played Jason into for basically everything but the close-up shot with the unmasking.
That's right.
And Warrington Gillette was going around for years at conventions saying he was Jason Part 2, and he was for about 14 seconds.
Oh shit! So people got their Steve Gillette autographs somewhere and framed on their walls.
I mean, whatever.
Yeah, I do it. Yeah. So number one's my favorite. I guess when I told you guys I had some hot takes, I always feel like this might be the most hot take because I always see people shitting on this movie. I was actually surprised to see Tom have it in the S tier because I don't know.
I had it in the A.
Oh, you had it in A. Okay.
So I had it. It's like I think I would rank it number 3.
Yeah, I mean that's more than fair, but like I don't know. Do you guys feel like nowadays? I don't know how if it's always been this way, but nowadays I just see people shitting on this movie. They're like, oh, it's easily one of the worst, or maybe the worst. I'm like, I love it.
Yeah, especially among younger people.
Yes, like the under 30 crowd.
Yeah.
Which one? I'm sorry, I've zoned out. Which one's your number one?
The first one.
Okay.
I like. I understand you don't get Jason really. It's not a Jason movie. It wasn't. As you guys know, it wasn't ever supposed to. There wasn't ever supposed to be a Jason movie at this point. It was just. It was Pamela. I think it has the best kills. The best Tom Savini kills. I love Pamela. I don't know. I just think it all works. It sucks that there's no Jason because Jason's one of my favorite like slasher characters, but I don't care. You have him for 1,000 other movies, so you can be okay with him not being in this one. I feel like, and I don't know, it's my favorite. I don't know if Tom dropped off or whatever.
I think you offended him by your picks, and
he deleted his channel entirely.
He likes poser picks. Maybe he cancel my dirt channel.
I can't do this anymore. Well, I guess in the to not have like dead space, I guess you could probably go, Scott. I'm done.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go to well, wait, I'm sorry. I'm trying to read comments here.
Oh yeah, man. I need to.
I was explaining to James in the comments, like I struggled with this list with like, what do I think is the best movie? What is the best Friday the 13th style movie? Or what do I enjoy watching the most?
Yeah, you could look at it so many ways.
I decided to go with what I enjoy watching the most.
Yeah, that's what I meant in terms of the ranking. It's just what you even if part 8 you enjoy rewatching. If you enjoy rewatching that most, you just put it number 1.
And if that was the case, I think that person would be psychotic and should be locked away.
Even if you think the movie's stupid and incompetent, but you love it,
right?
Yeah. Personal taste.
So before I go, I'm just gonna say my top is pretty solid. My bottom is pretty solid. Pretty much the whole middle can move. Yeah. I do when I do like rankings like this, I put it into quadrants and like put the movies into like top, second, third, fourth, and then kind of rank it within there. So just this back of the envelope. I don't know if anybody can see it. It doesn't matter. But my top 3 and my bottom 3 never changed. Everything else is all scratched out and written over, and so just as a prelude. All right, my number 12, guys, I'm very disappointed in you because the objectively worst movie is Jason Takes Manhattan. It's boring. There's no tits. The kills are lame.
They are lame.
I always, I probably have said it on my channel or somewhere that it should be called Jason's Boring Boat Ride to Vancouver. They're in New York for 4 seconds, and then it's a bunch of shitty back alley sets, and the ending makes no sense. And the main girl is terrible. I don't like anything about it. I just think it's a fucking boring movie.
You don't like the boxing scene?
It's the best part, I guess, of the whole
The
movie.
boxing scene, okay, yeah. I mean, okay, it's not a total loss. There were 30 good seconds in that movie. And what who's that girl? Kelly Wu or Kelly Who?
Yeah, and she
the
was
Asian
in the
girl
X-Men.
she was like kind of big for a second in like the 2000s. She's in it, and she's pretty and everything, but she doesn't whip them out either. I mean, it's a total portrayal of the objectification of women that this series exemplifies. So, for that alone, it's the last. Let's see. Number 11 is Jason X. It's got some fun moments, but it just screams like 90s sci-fi channel movie. It's like it's just drab and boring, and has some cool moments, but I was very excited to see it in the theater, and then I was very disappointed when I did see it. So
I will say, I don't know how to pronounce her name, but the star Alexa Doig or whatever, she's hot, and she was on an episode of Kids in the Hall.
Oh, really? Okay.
That's how Canadian Jason.
I was just saying, it does seem very Canadian. I mean, it's got freaking David Cronenberg in it. It's pretty Canadian.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
And I think that's my favorite part of the movie is like the first 3 minutes, that whole opening. But anyway, we'll move on to.
Is cool. The concept is so cool. Like this Uber Jason could have been just awesome. But anyway, sir.
My number 10 is The New Blood, Part 7. Not really its fault, obviously we've talked about it got eviscerated and all the edge was taken off it, no gore. Lar Park Lincoln was just super annoying in it to me. I never even liked her at all. I didn't want her to win. I didn't care about her. Cool idea, but for whatever reason, it just didn't work. So those are my bottom 3 firm. Now we'll go to kind of the fluid ones. My number 9 is the remake. I don't have really anything against it. I thought it was cool that they tried to merge like the plots of 2, 3, and 4 together into one movie. I thought that was a neat idea. There's some cool kills. There's some nice nudity. I didn't like Jason being a pot farmer and having like an underground lair. I thought that was weird. Like they were trying to make him like a torture porn guy. And kidnapping people and taking them underground. I don't know, but yeah, it was okay. Initially, I hated it until I kind of backed off and was like, realized like I was pretending like these movies are cinematic classics and they besmirched the legacy of the great Friday the 13th series.
And then James, I believe so, because I remember like waiting to get new tires and seeing on TV that she was in an episode of Andromeda. That's to the extent that I've seen Andromeda as well, waiting to get new tires.
So you made time for it, sort of.
Sorry, I'll try to get through this quick. My number 8 is Jason Goes to Hell. Obviously not really a Friday the 13th movie, but some really good gore. I thought, just as a 90s horror movie, I thought it was cool. I saw it a bunch of times in the theater. I was so excited because I could finally see a Friday the 13th movie in the theater. And the unrated cut is actually pretty brutal. So I appreciated that.
It's not a boring movie. You can't say that, Like,
right.
Yeah.
I mean, in the beginning, I really like the beginning. That whole like we're gonna use a hot naked lady to lure Jason in to kill him. I thought that was kind of clever. But yeah, it's basically Jason's in the beginning at the end, and the rest is like the hidden with like worms crawling down people's throats and shit. That was my 8, right? Yeah, it was 8. 7, I have part 6, Jason Lives. This one I feel like for me hasn't aged that well. I thought I liked it a lot more when I was younger, and I understand what he was going for. Yet like the monster movie vibe and subverting expectations and really in for me now as an old pervert, the thing I hate most about it is he has fucking Darcy DeMoss in his movie that she's the girl in the motorhome, and she doesn't get naked. Like she got naked in everything, and I think that was his like kind of his little joke, like the girl's supposed to get naked and then she doesn't, and but that's bullshit. Come on.
And you expected
Darcy
it too.
DeMoss in your movie. She's got to take her top off. That's
yeah, and you assumed it too. So it's more disappointing when you assume something and it just doesn't happen. You're like,
right. And like I said, all these can vary. Right now, what I have written down is my number 6 is the first one. I like the first one a lot. That's kind of where it landed right now. I don't really have a good explanation for why. Number 5, I had part 3. Kind of goofy. It's kind of goofy, and of course you got the 3D shit of the guy, putting the stick in the screen to do the 3D effect. That now doesn't really add to the filmmaking at all.
The juggling
and the popping eyeball, I'm sure was really shocking and cool in 3D, but doesn't really work without it. But I thought it had a cool cast of characters, had some hot ladies, and Dana Kimmel, the final girl. I was in love with her as a child, so that might influence my take as well. She's like she's the cute girl that keeps leading on the main dude, and I don't know if I can kiss you because Jason may have assaulted me years ago, and
yeah, and then Vera is my favorite. She's supposed to be Latina,
right. Oh yeah, yeah.
And she actually respects Shelley as a human being, despite him being annoying and fat
and stupid and annoying. Yeah. and just because I have it sitting here, I showed it in an earlier video. The same year she made that, she played Chuck Norris's daughter in Lone Wolf McQuade. So, I mean, that's it. You got to retire after that. What else are you going to do?
And she starred in another slasher movie called Sweet 16.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, which is how she got that movie, is somebody saw her in that.
I got to look that up. Yeah. I was in love with her. Anyway, so moving on. My number 4 is part 2. I really like part 2. I like how, like Eli was saying, like they didn't really have it established yet what these movies were, and like half the camp goes to a bar and just drinks, and then nothing ever happens to them. They just live. Like the annoying jokester guy who you are sure is going to get killed, he just lives because he was at the bar. He wasn't at the camp.
And the Asian girl that has no lines, she ends up living.
No.
And Amy Steele is maybe the best final girl. I wouldn't put her above Dana for me, but probably objectively she's the best final girl. All right, so here's my top 3. Here's a real spicy one. Number 3, I have Freddy vs. Jason. I just think this movie's a shit ton of fun. It's not really a Friday the 13th movie, but it is
fun. It is fun.
Ronnie Yu directed it and has kind of that Asian influence of like Jason just running through the cornfield, swinging his machete, and just geysers of blood flying out, and just like that crazy.
It's great scene.
Kind of Asian Hong Kong bloodletting that I really liked, and I
love the kill at the beginning with the bed when he snaps the guy in the bed.
Oh
folds him in half.
It's got why can't I think of her name now? The Ginger Snaps girl,
Catherine Isabel.
Catherine Isabel.
Yeah, forgot.
Who isn't naked in it, but they try to make you think she is.
Well, they have a body double.
Yeah, she gets in the shower, and then the point of view is from above, and you're like, holy shit, she went up like 8 cup sizes. She walked in that shower. But yeah, I just thought that was a really fun movie, so I rate it pretty high. Obviously, probably the best movie, but I'm rating it number 2 is the final chapter. I just think as a movie, it's the best. I think Ted White's the best Jason. The mom and daughter, I really like. The Corey Feldman's mom and sister are awesome. Both super hot blonde ladies. You got the subplot of the dude looking for his missing sister that I thought was cool. Yeah, just and Crispin Glover, the Crispin Glover dance, the twins. I mean, yeah, it's a classic movie.
Yeah.
But my favorite is part 5.
Ah,
It's my favorite because it is so freaking sleazy and mean spirited, and we're killing retarded people,
it's bad.
and all the women get naked, and we got the guy getting killed in the outhouse while he's singing to his girl while he's taking a shit, and it's just so bananas.
Baby.
Yeah. And Tommy's a complete psychopath, like through the whole movie. And that ending was like, oh, Tommy's gonna be Jason, and then we just kind of forgot about it. But
yeah,
just kind of as a one-off, like Danny Steinman he pretty much did he did flat out porn movies, right? Wasn't he the
Yeah, he did porn and he did Savage Streets, and that's
Savage
pretty much
Streets, right?
that was pretty much it.
Oh, and how can I forget Debbie Sue Voorhees, the
I was waiting for you
greatest
to bring...
breasts in the history of Friday the 13th.
I was waiting. I was like, "Come on, Scott, don't let me down."
Yeah,
my buddy Chris is just like you, and like this is his favorite movie. just for
that, it's number 1. Come on.
Yeah.
And I just hearing like the backstage stories of like that love scene in the woods, and Danny Steinman was like, "Yeah, grab her, fuck her." I want to see that. I want to see him just screaming about grab her tits.
Literally.
So that's my list.
Was that Debbie Sue? Is that her name? In that?
Yes.
Yeah. Debbie Sue.
I don't think she did a whole lot.
I don't think so. She should have. She should have done a lot.
She should have.
Yeah.
She was very talented.
She had it.
The it factor.
She had it.
All right, that was fun. And there are people. Yeah, there are other people out there that part 5 is their favorite or one of their favorites.
Yes.
And the whole it wasn't really Jason. I don't like. Guys, there's no Jason. None of them are Jason.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't love that. But I'm fine with it. But I don't love the fact that they did the doppelganger Jason, not doppelganger, but you know what I mean.
I mean, the reveal of who it was kind of dumb, but
yeah, but it's fine because the whole time you're watching it, you pretend it's him anyways. So it's like you just tell yourself it's Jason.
When I get disappointed at that part, I just go back to the scene in the woods.
Yeah.
Well, he breaks through a door like a zombie.
That's true.
Like if it was just the actual ambulance driver guy, he would probably just open the door.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He wouldn't break through it like a super strong zombie.
No.
In case there are any witnesses, he wanted to set up some deniability there. Like, how could it be me? They said he walks like a zombie. I'm just a regular dude.
Yeah.
It must be Jason.
That's true.
Clay is here. How's it going, Clay? Haven't talked to you in a while. Yeah, he's part 1 is his favorite. So Eli was also part 1. And I do agree 5 is super entertaining. But my general point earlier was the thing I like the best about the Friday the 13th movies are just the cat and mouse, the suspense of the stalk and slash kind of thing, and then also the music. So that's a big part of it. So some of the, like, Chasing Goes to Hell, I think the score is really bad. And that's
It
another
is
reason.
bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's Harry Manfredini. It's like he forgot how to do it. I think he just didn't give a shit, right? Wouldn't you assume that? I don't know.
Yeah, he's somebody that he had one great score in him
That's true.
to me, and then like a lot of the other stuff doesn't really I mean, can you think of another great
No.
Harry Manfredini score?
No.
All right, so we're going to talk about Man on the Flying Trapeze. So that took a while, but that was fun.
Yeah, but this, as we discussed earlier, Man on the Flying Trapeze is a pretty short movie, so it's
an hour long. So
yeah. So it won't take that much time.
Give me 1 second. Oh God.
Tom's digging through a box of VHS tapes.
I have a bunch of W.C. Fields books.
Oh, cool.
So I'll just mention one that I'm currently reading, which is called W.C. Fields and Me, which is his longtime mistress Carlotta Monti, and she plays the secretary in the movie. So in the yeah, and it's really funny just to read people that were part of his life, that how he was basically like the characters in his movies. Like he wasn't really that different in real life.
That's awesome.
She tells the story that he was sued by a screenwriter that he stole a story element or something from him, and then he got to court. He carried a mini rubber keg. So it's like there's a flask, right? And apparently there's like you could buy like a mini keg of alcohol. So he carried it with him to court, and then his lawyer asked him why he had it, and he's like, "Well, in case of an adverse verdict."
So he's just gonna chug it.
And then so that's what happened is he was found guilty of theft and required to pay some moolah, and he took swigs right there in court of the little miniature keg.
This was back when you could bring alcohol into a courtroom, I guess, legally.
So I don't really know much about W.C. Fields other than like he always played drunks. So I just thought that was his character, but apparently that's like kind of how he was. He enjoyed a good beverage.
Yes, it's really not. He wasn't really playing that much of a part, and in this movie. So I picked this movie in particular. So Kino Lorber released a bunch of his movies on Blu-ray, and this was one that never came out on VHS and really didn't play on TV until they released a W.C. Fields box set, and it was a DVD box set, and it was included in that. So it was pretty hard to see. And the other part of it, based on some of these books I've read, it seems like his wife that's always complaining, that was based on his ex-wife, and then the annoying nephew that hates him, that was based on his son, and even named after his son, his estranged son.
Oh, that's fucked up.
and then his so Carlotta Monti, his mistress that was always defending him, she plays the secretary that's defending him. So this was more so than any of his movies seems autobiographical, I guess. So and I think Eli said he had never seen a W.C. Fields movie.
I hadn't either.
One thing, people are generally aware of his character just because there's been lots of parodies over the years, like in like Looney Tunes cartoons and lots of things. So Scott, what did you think of the opening scene?
Okay. So I watched this not thinking I was going to be talking about it, and I was like, thank God I'm not going to be talking about this. Because I like the beginning where he's sneaking into the bathroom to drink away from his wife and, pretending to brush his teeth. I thought that was funny. But the whole rolling up his socks thing, I don't know if I'm jumping ahead, but I
Yeah.
was I was like, oh my God, this movie's an hour, and I feel like this is like 58 minutes of it. I can't stand this.
Well, the whole gag is, instead of being a heroic husband, that he's prolonging everything because he doesn't want to deal with the
Right, right.
situation. So that's the gag. But basically, there are two robbers that come into the house, and then funnily enough, they're two different robbers were sent to steal silverware. So this is like the shittiest criminal operation. They accidentally send two different guys, unbeknownst to each other, to steal silverware from somebody's house.
I was confused as to this being his house, and then I must admit, I don't understand this whole like, why were they going to his house? I didn't quite get it.
It's just two guys breaking in to steal silverware.
Oh, it's no okay, all right.
So another part of like the W.C. Fields humor is just like, um, the humor of failure. Like, these are the shittiest crooks ever.
Okay.
So they go in to steal silverware, and they see Applejack in the basement, and they immediately get drunk and start singing. So, and then WC doesn't want to address the situation.
They do a great job of making you hate her immediately.
Yeah, usually in a lot of his films, there's like his wife characters is a very shrew, complainer that constantly yells at him.
Mm-hmm.
And then he pulls out a gun and thinks for a second that he shot her. And like his wish, his dream was almost fulfilled.
I was rooting for it.
And like he calls the neighborhood patrol but dials the wrong number and gets a woman instead, so the wife thinks he's cheating on her or whatever.
His daughter's pretty hotsy totsy, I gotta say. She's nice.
She is.
And then he so immediately, like, he finally tries to address the situation and head down to the basement, and he trips and then bashes through the door and gets sits on a nail and sits on a gun that goes off. And then he just starts getting drunk with the two guys and the cop that shows up to arrest them, and they all get drunk together, and it's a quartet now.
He's living his best life in the basement with the robbers, getting drunk rather than his wife.
So the plot of the movie is that he has a front row seat to the wrestling match of the century. So he explains that, but his wife hates wrestling. So I don't know if this is something that you can maybe that you want to get drunk and watch wrestling, but your wife hates it. I don't know.
Well, for the bit, I wish I could say that she just ignores it. She doesn't care. She actually went with my son and I to the first All Out in 2019, and we went as a family, and then she didn't complain or anything. She sat there and watched the show with us, and then the next time we were going to go, it was like, Jackie, you want to go with us? She's like, no, you guys just go.
I've seen it before.
Yeah, she got it. She got the idea.
I've seen it.
5 hours watching guys pretend to fight each other. She was good. She didn't need any more of that. So.
Yeah, and he says wrestling's in my blood, and he's like, I got a hole that no one can get out of. And then he immediately flips him over.
Check out this front chancery. There's no way out.
And he goes, "Did I hurt you?" It's like, how could you hurt somebody throwing them on their head on the concrete? And WC Fields always has these funny names. So it's Toss Off versus Mishabob.
The Russian behemoth. The person giant.
Yeah. Only $15 for a ringside seat.
I was going to say $15 in 1935.
But that was
I should have looked that up. Yeah. Do we know what the adjusted price of that is?
That might have been like $200 maybe.
Yeah, probably.
Probably pretty pricey.
Yeah.
Yeah, WC Fields was Attitude Era before the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was taking Cactus Jack-esque bumps.
That's right. On the concrete.
Yeah, because when Cactus Jack started and he would do these, like, he would try a sunset flip and land on the concrete. Like, I honestly thought, like, this guy is actually insane.
Yeah.
Like, I bought it.
Yeah.
And then his annoying nephew steals the ticket.
That douche.
Oh, what a douche, exactly.
So that was because his estranged son, I guess his first son, his estranged son, was also named Claude. So that douche that doesn't want to get a job, it steals the ticket, was named Claude as well. So, and then so he gets arrested for illegal Applejack, and then immediately, like, the guy that he's in the cell with is this crazy guy that murdered his wife. And then I love that he's like, I've been married 3 times, or I've been married 4 times, and this is the first one I've ever killed. And then WC Fields is like, they have no more case against you than the sheep has against the butcher. And then he does this. I've seen this in several movies, the gag where he's out all night. Somebody's out all night and they go to finally get into bed. And then right when they get in the bed, the alarm goes off.
Mm-hmm.
And I swore I've seen that in a couple of movies. But this is him doing it in 1935. Yeah. So he clawed the son-in-law, doesn't want to get a job. He's a freeloader. WC Fields eats toast too loud.
And that's all that's left because everybody ate everything before he got there.
James has a good question. Are Apple Jacks the cereal named after booze?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question.
Could be.
So Applejack is just like what, like kind of like basic, not quite cider, right?
Yeah, I guess it's just like cider.
Like really cheap, shitty cider.
Yeah. And this is another joke that I've heard other comedians tell, or present in movies, that I think originated with WC Fields, like the structure of it. Like, so this is his daughter from a previous marriage. And she says about Claude, the lazy, good for nothing, fat, overfed monkey. And WC Fields goes, well, he isn't too fat. And she says, go ask your boss for the afternoon off and go to the match. And another thing that apparently W.C. Fields had a like a photographic memory, and that's his job. That's his job for this credit union. He remembers all these facts about the clients. So that was also taken from real life.
Oh, okay. I thought that was cool that his job was like, yeah. They don't they say it at some point, like a memory
Yeah, he says I'm a memory expert, but
expert?
basically
Yeah.
part of the plot is he never takes a day off, and part of the reason he can't take a day off is he has this. Well, I'll get to it because he has this like insane filing system.
Mm-hmm.
So if anybody has a question, they just have to ask him. And so if he's not around, then nobody can find out information on clients. Yeah, because he has his desk is all disheveled. So he asks for the afternoon off, but he lies and says his mother-in-law died. So could this backfire on him? Well, we shall find out.
I probably be fine.
He hasn't had this is his first day off in 25 years. And his boss assumes that it's poison liquor. And I like his secretary said, it must be hard to lose your mother-in-law. And he like just mumbles to himself. He's like, yeah, it's almost possible. Very difficult.
I thought they did a reasonable job of trying to explain why he was married to this horrible person, that he wanted to have a mother for his daughter, but she seems to hate the daughter, so I don't know how that works, but they at least try to explain, like, why would this guy be with this terrible woman, and then her terrible mother and brother. And
Well, it was a different time in terms of people would just get married, just
yeah.
just to get married. But maybe she wasn't originally so horrible. I don't know. So immediately his boss is like, contact the press and notify them of this tragedy. And there's this whole long bit of him getting pulled over by the cops, but then he rams into a cop's motorcycle, and then that cop pulls him over. So he's getting pulled over by two cops at the same time.
It did. Yeah, this had. I mean, I guess as far as the threadbare plot, this had nothing to do with anything. But I did really enjoy this, like, as like illustrating this guy who can't catch a frickin' break.
Yeah, but it's him just trying to get to that wrestling match, and he gets pulled over like 4 times in a row. We have motorcyclists outside. And he does this thing where the thing he wants to say, he'll mumble under his breath. So the cop says, if he told you to pull out a gun and shoot me, you'd have done that too. And he says, yes, sir. What? And then he assumes the chauffeur is another cop, so he pulls out his papers for the chauffeur. And then he gets wedged in between a couple of things. And then there's this scene where he accidentally rams into an ambulance, and then the person flies out. So then the mother-in-law that's supposed to be dead starts receiving flowers. Our deepest sympathy in your great bereavement.
What a great casting for that mother-in-law too. She's just like, oh, you just look at her and you're like, ugh, gross.
So the wife finds out that WC, he requested the day off because his mother-in-law is dead. And she says, my mother's not dead. She's in perfect health. And this is some wrestling. So he's trying to get to the wrestling match. He gets a flat tire. And then the wheel comes off and rolls down the street. And onto a train track. So he needs to get his wheel to get back on the car to get to the matches. And then it's immediately within an hour, his lie is spread to the local newspaper that his mother-in-law is dead.
It's like faster than social media.
Yeah. And so and Claude, he stole the ticket and he's at the wrestling match, this bum. And so WC Fields finally gets there and he's trying to buy a ticket and he sees a glory hole so he can get a view because it's sold out. And then they do the I don't know who was first to do this, but there was the Big Show spot where he breaks the ring
through the mat.
Yeah, they do that here in 1935.
Was that? I mean, obviously they did it here, so it wasn't first. Didn't ECW do it before WWE?
Yeah, I think so.
With Taz and Bam Bam.
Yeah, but it wasn't the Big Show one was more similar to this, where it just crushed the middle of the ring.
Yeah.
Wasn't the Taz one more on the side?
Yeah, it was. Oh, that's right. Because then they had matches after that. They taped off that section, that corner of the ring. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, like somebody must have done something close to this where the middle of the ring collapsed.
I'm sure they did, yeah.
Or it just actually happened.
And that was Tor Johnson, and I looked the other guy up. I didn't know him. I guess he wrestled as Alibaba at the time.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't even look it up.
Yeah.
So then the giant dude gets thrown out of the ring right into WC Fields.
That's quite a high spot. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Out the door.
And then Claude shows up and just assumes he just got drunk. But in fact, he was he had a 320 pounder smacked into him.
But the drunk again line means that it's happened before, so maybe Claude's not way off base.
And I like the line where he says Claude says they drank themselves into imbecility. I feel like I've done that a time or two.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. If you've lived your life right, you've done it a time or two.
So this Claude is really annoying. But he's gonna get his comeuppance.
Oh, what a witch.
So his son-in-law, finally WC Fields, he grows some stones and he clocks them.
Well, I really like this moment. It was like kind of out of character for the movie, so I don't know if that should count against it, but like he's just so like go along to get along the whole movie, but finally like Claude says something about his daughter and he's like, all right, fucker, it's on, and just knocks him out.
Yeah, I think especially at that time, it's something you would not have expected. You know, it would have sort of like, holy shit, they actually went there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Clay, WCW Fields. Yeah, James says, if I never drank, I would be a total genius.
Yeah, I know, me too. I could have been a captain of industry if it wasn't for the demon rum.
And he says, I'll exterminate the three of them. His entire family.
Let's go.
Minus the one he likes.
His daughter's the only one worth a shit, in all fairness.
Yeah. And then he goes, rest in peace. fucking does the Undertaker coffin move.
Bong.
Drops it right on his corpse. Fucks him up. Well, he's learned from watching all these wrestling matches.
That's right.
And then so W.C. Fields gets fired, but his boss finds out about it and he needs him back. So then after all this failure and fuckery, his daughter from a previous marriage gets on the phone with his boss and she coordinates a rise in pay. The firm wants you back at your old job with a pay raise and 4 weeks vacation. So after failing at life this entire time, it somehow works out for him.
I did enjoy the middle manager, little weasel guy getting yelled at from the boss. Like, what do, you asshole? Hire him back, and him having to eat shit and go do it. I enjoyed that. And then the wife came crawling back.
Yep. It all, because also I think you had to have some sort of happy ending of sorts. Like you couldn't just have like, I'm going to kill my entire family and then that's it.
And go being drunk and die in the gutter.
Yeah. You had to have some semblance of, because this was after the Hays Code.
Okay.
So I don't think you could just end the movie where he knocks out and leaves his family. I don't think they would have allowed that.
I was glad you picked this movie because I'd never seen a W.C. Fields movie, and 5 minutes in, I was like, "Fuck this movie," but I had to watch it, so I did, and I enjoyed it. So it expanded my horizons. So I appreciate it.
Awesome. It's not my favorite. I would say my 3 favorite are probably The Bank Dick, It's a Gift, and then You Can't Cheat an Honest Man. And you Can't Cheat an Honest Man. He runs a carnival and he's like the ultimate carny. Where he's just a complete huckster. Like he had, and it's just like the worst. He has like the worst circus freaks of all time. So he has the tallest midget in the world, and the smallest giant in the world. And
Is it the same person?
They're 2 identical twins that are 6 feet tall.
Okay.
And those are his circus freaks.
That sounds funny.
I would say Bank Dick is probably his funniest in terms of it's just a constant series of gags where basically he accidentally becomes head security at a bank just through a series of failures. So if I would say that's in terms of like the character, the Bank Dick, it's again like he hates his family, and there's the gag at the beginning where they're at the morning breakfast and the son is like, Daddy doesn't love me anymore. And then so W.C. Fields, he goes to punch the kid in the face, and he's like, and he's like, no son of mine's gonna insult me by calling me a bad father, or whatever the line is. And then the wife has to break it up. But he has variations on the joke where he threatens to beat up his kid if they call him a bad father.
Nice. I did read. I just kind of skimmed Wikipedia from this movie, and it said that this one is sort of different in that he really doesn't do anything wrong in this movie. Like, he's kind of just an innocent guy getting henpecked, and in other movies he's kind of has more of an edge and is kind of more maybe deserving of the bad things that happen to him. That's just what I read. I don't know if you have a comment on that.
Yeah, so there's like variations on this character. So I would say It's a Gift is a good place to start in terms of it's more established as the character and he's the family man, but he's more humanistic in that one. So I would say it's sort of like this one, but he's even a little more humanistic and his family's not as terrible. And then like in You Can't Cheat an Honest Man, he's more of a scumbag in that one.
Okay.
So that it's like it's generally it's the guy that wants to just go off and get drunk, and his family and other people annoy him and his kids. So it's generally like that's the character, and some of the other versions of it, he's more of a charlatan.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to Eli.
I think he was going to the Flag Day parade. That was what was going on.
Okay.
He couldn't stand not being away from his hero.
He might have sent me a message. Oh, he's worshiping Cheeto.
I knew it.
Oh no, his Wi-Fi cut out. He said.
Okay.
All right. We didn't get much Eli's thoughts. He was laughing a little bit, but I would have liked to have heard his thoughts, but that's okay. I'll ask him and I'll report back.
Oh, is he like totally out?
Yeah, his Wi-Fi cut out or something. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Any final thoughts? It is. I would say it's sort of a wrestling movie.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. There's a wrestling match in it. It was when you said it was based on a guy who wants to go to see a wrestling match. It was, it's only an hour long, and it's like 20 some minutes in. I was like, "Where's the freaking wrestling? What's going on?" But they got to it. Yeah, it was a fun movie. It was kind of a series of gags, which I assume probably a lot of his movies are, but I'd never seen one. So once I figured out what was going on, I did enjoy it quite a bit.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm a big fan. I would say, well, you have Groucho behind me. Him, Groucho, and Woody Allen are probably my favorites on-screen comedians.
Okay.
Of all time.
I haven't thrown a whole lot of tangents in, so I feel like I have to do one now. What do you think of the movie Father's Day?
I remember liking it, but I don't remember it super well.
Okay.
That's the slasher by the Astron 6.
Yeah. I think it's amazing. It does kind of like a tonal shift when it starts. It feels like a super sleazy grindhouse movie, and then it kind of, as you get into it, you're like, oh wait, no, this is a comedy. I recommended it to a friend, and he made it like 10 minutes in and stopped, and I was like, what's going on? What didn't you like about it? He's like, well, there was a guy raping a dead body, and then like male prostitutes in an alley, and he thought it was like some like I guess gritty like crime movie or something, and it just wasn't up to. It was like, oh, okay, no, you gotta watch like another 10 minutes to figure out what's going on. When you get to the maple syrup guy, and it's extremely silly, and then then you get to they go to hell, and I don't know. I think it's an amazing movie. So that's my recommendation. Everyone, for Father's Day, watch the movie Father's Day.
That is a demand. That is not a request.
No, watch it. Watch it or forever pose.
It is officially mandatory. You will be called out if you don't watch it. So, Scott, we're going to end in a second, but I have a question.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Have you watched any Rudy Ray Moore movies?
In full?
Yes, in full.
No. I must admit, no.
You've seen clips of Dolomite or something?
Yeah, I've seen clips of Dolomite and Petey Wheatstraw and Disco Godfather, but I've never actually sat down and watched the whole movie.
James says he likes Father's Day. All right. Well, I think for next week, I'm going to pick a Rudy Ray Moore movie because I've been watching these blaxploitation box set.
Mm-hmm.
So I rewatched Black Caesar and Sheba Baby with Pam Grier. So I wanted to rewatch this one, and it's a sort of a lesser known, and you mentioned it, but Petey Wheatstraw, The Devil's Son-in-Law.
Okay.
Rudy Ray Moore, and also Leroy and Skillet and Wildman Steve.
I don't know who that is or who they are.
I have albums. They were stand-up comedians, so I have albums from them. I can show them off.
Are these like party albums, like that they dubbed them in the day?
Yes, raunchy party albums.
Okay. Talking
about eating ass.
Oh, I'll bring my pearls to clutch while we talk about
it. That's what party albums. That's when you bought a party album. That's what you got.
Okay. Should I try to acquire like magazines like Black Tail to show along with this, or no? Okay.
We'll get kicked off of YouTube doing that.
Maybe just for my own edification, I will, but I won't show them.
Okay. you can read them. We can watch you read them as long
just
as
for some context.
As long as they're not in the frame.
Okay.
But yeah, this movie is on Tubi. Are people aware of Tubi?
I love Tubi.
Okay. So anybody can watch. It's free. Petey Wheatstraw, The Devil's Son-in-Law, 1977. So that'll be the movie for next week. And I think we'll do this same time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, next Saturday. And yeah. So I hope everybody had fun. He's Dolomite, yes, aka Dolomite.
Is he Dolomite in every movie, or is that just in Dolomite?
In the 2 Dolomite movies.
Oh, there's 2. Okay.
Yeah, but he might as well be.
I mean, okay, yeah, right.
It's one of those things, he's living the gimmick.
It's like Chuck Norris plays different characters in every movie, but he's always Chuck Norris.
Yeah. All right. Shout out to Eli. We lost him. Man down. R.I.P. No, he's not dead. So pour one out for his Wi-Fi. All right. Good night, everybody. And I'll leave you with some links if you want to email me for some ungodly reason, or I have a letterbox account and an Instagram. So I'll post some more still images from some of these movies that we talk about on my Instagram. And that's it. Have a great night. And thank you everybody for showing up.